Yango Ads presents.
If you only use AI or prediction tools, you will still have a great work, but that work might be forgettable. The right time, a bridge between
something unique about working. Exactly, and I think that AI changes. Hi everyone, welcome to Growth Chats, our little corner where we talk about everything AdTech. I'm Jennifer Bratakencana, Agency Account Manager at Yango Ads. And today we're excited to be sitting with one of Asia's leading digital marketing agency, Syndacast, who's trusted by brands locally and globally. And their achievements have been shown throughout 25,000 projects with various industries in Asia Pacific. Joining us here today is Tom Nguyen, Managing Director of Syndacast, who's going to walk us through the journey behind the agency's growth. Kun Tom, thank you so much for taking the time of being with us here today. Could you first get started by introducing yourself and telling us more about your experience and your background?
Yeah, I am Tom, and I have been working at Syndacast for 15 years, 16 years or so. Since I joined Syndacast, we have been able to grow from a very small marketing startup, to become one of go-to marketing firms, for a lot of luxury brands and hotels in Asia Pacific. Today, I think not only being a digital marketing company, but we are sitting right in the middle of the three areas. First is marketing, second is technology, and third would be commerce. And we want to help our customers navigate through this complex world of digital into bringing out the concrete plan and strategies and execution.
Nice. I think that you perfectly clear out like all of the explanation about what Syndacast does and a lot of the things that you work with various industry. And I think that's very impressive that you've worked like for 15 years in Syndacast, starting from a small company to now. I'm just curious because you mentioned about your company as a digital marketing, and I believe that you work closely with technology. So I know that your team works with technology, rely heavily on technology. Can you perhaps share with us some of the key tools or platforms that you most rely on, and how do they help your clients?
You're right. We rely on a lot of technology, but we look at ourselves as a bridge between the most important technologies that can bring the best value for our clients. Not only having our technology just that connects to all the biggest media platforms, as well as tracking technologies and all of the audience activities out there, we are looking to improve it and implement it in the way that works best for our customers, because we have to solve a commerce problem for our customers now. It's no longer about buying the media, buying the ads out there anymore, but we have to solve this problem for our clients. So we rely on a lot of technologies. For example, with e-commerce, we have been we have been working in a partnership with Google Campaign Manager or Google Marketing Platform. Now it's called. We have been partnering up with them for 13 years, in order to give the most accurate tracking on e-commerce for our customers. We also work with a lot of data companies who provide us the ad fraud and the ad safety solutions, as well as working with many data vendors to segment the data that makes the most sense for our clients to show the ads to. So for example, if a customer a business is in Bangkok, we would be looking at targeting people who are arriving into Bangkok and have the interest of using this service or product in Bangkok. So that is one of the key things that change the way Syndacast work, and that's why we are now one of the best choices for hotels in Southeast Asia as well as Asia Pacific to target international travelers. So that is one of the biggest highlights. We also have our own media reporting dashboard, which we combine from all the media vendors as well as tracking platforms into one consolidated report that a human as well as now even AI can learn and help us analyze. So those are just technology in a nutshell. But I look at us as a bridge and as a linkage between a lot of important technologies that can benefit our customers.
Yes. Oh, that is super interesting because you laid out so many of your technology, and especially the fact that most advertisers now they really rely on understanding audiences and like precise targeting and also making fast decisions. Like that's very important, and that brings me to my next question. So when a client comes to you and they said that they want to stand out online, how would you usually help them with the creative work?
Yeah, we have to look at, we have to, number one, learn about not only their products, but the end customers, how they're gonna like it, how they're gonna find it, And based on that framework, we will then look at their journey, and from their journey, we will have different stages in the journey, and then with different stages, we have, an experience-based content strategy, communication strategy, and then a creative style that fits into each of the stage. So it's both funnel-based and it's experience-based. And I think we combine pretty well, those two.
Oh, that makes sense, because I personally believe that good creative really decides whether people stop scrolling or keep going. So that's, I think, one of the key value from your company. And we've talked about your agency, about your technology and your creative work. So I gotta ask you this: if you had to point out one thing that is that making Syndacast stand out from the others, what would that thing be? Like the thing that your client really rely on you and look out from you?
Well, it's both a secret and not a secret. The formula to success for us is very simple. We want to make sure that the right audience at the right time will get exposed and get to see different messages that could be right for them. We cannot say that a message is definitely right for this group of audience, but with the technology we can A/B test. We can immediately come up with new copies. We can immediately come up with a new creative approach. So our adaptation to make sure that, number one, the right audience, number two, when they have a demand to travel or when they have a demand to buy a product, to the point that they see the ads that we expose to them, these three go together very well. So that is not a secret, but how to do it, to tell you the truth, it's taking me 12 years to develop, and I think I'm still learning on how to do it the best way I can. Thanks to AI nowadays, I think that we are getting closer to where we really want to be. But at least I would say that with this approach, most of our customers who come to us would experience a 30% uplift in performance, in commerce, and or saving 30% of the marketing budget. So that would be the goal for us.
That's so very great, because you understand like each funnel and you really adapt to each funnel, and I think that's also what makes you one of the successful agency, and you work with many like brands across regions. But I believe like Thailand has its own quirks. Like how can you share with us like what's something unique about working in Thailand, and how do you navigate the challenges within this region?
Well, I think we are one of the lucky companies that don't just get to work with Thai companies, but we get to work with customers in 10 different countries around Asia Pacific. So that experience for us make us feel very natural when it comes to targeting cross-border products or services, especially hotels or airlines or travel companies in this way, or even financial products in this way. So for us, it is naturally important to learn about what's going on in different markets, from geopolitical conflicts, to public holidays, to language barriers, as well as cultural behavior, to combine these into our marketing strategies as well. So yes, technology is there, but I think we just have to be aware of how things are changing very fast these days in the region. And because of getting to work with a lot of hotels, we get to feel very natural and very comfortable with it.
Since you mentioned like the fast changing, like Thailand is a very fast changing, especially in the industry that you work on. Like, how do you think like the digital scene here changed recently, and what changes in the client expectation when they're working from you nowadays?
One of the best questions of the day so far. Thank you for that. If I look back at how I started with digital marketing, we only talk about, back then we only talk about search marketing. Yeah. Search was everything. Search was king. Search was on every table. But we have come very far, and now I think that Thailand is experiencing a couple of things. Number one is that a platform shift. So people are not, brands as well as users are not on just one or two platforms that are the biggest out there. So marketing means you have to do many more things than before, but you also have to pull them together, and that is both a challenge and an opportunity for companies that can do it. And I think the second thing in Thailand that is changing very fast would be the commerce behavior. So from just going through the customer funnels as we traditionally have been educated. Now with new generations and with new platforms, people can make many impulse decisions. And these impulse decisions means you have to learn and understand your customers more than ever. To try and not only to optimize, but I think to come up with something that is really authentic about your brand, and that is really challenging right now. For not just Thailand anymore, but Thailand is one of the biggest examples on how this thing is shifting the customer behavior on the digital market.
But your agency successfully managed those challenges, and that's why
constant learning.
You're one of the successful agency, and I noticed that you mentioned that you work focusing in the hospitality sector, like many hotels and brands. So I noticed that we're seeing more and more CIS travelers or Central Asia coming to Thailand. And what do you think, as an agency, how do you help your clients to reach this CIS audience in a way that you can actually get this audience?
Yes, platform shift is one of the related point to how CIS travelers as well as the market itself gets more and more interesting for Thailand as well as for even neighboring countries in Thailand like Vietnam. So for us, definitely we have to work with technology and partners that are experts in the region, expert in the feeder market.
Yes, that's correct. And looking ahead, what do you think will shape the next phase of digital marketing from an agency perspective, like working with tech-driven partners?
Well, I can give you two answers. Answer one is everybody will give you from an agency point of view is number one. We have a lot more tools in terms of data analysis. We have many more tools in terms of predicting how the market will behave with your ad, with your product. And we have AI that comes into helping a lot of this. I agree in this answer because a part of it is very true. We can now predict better. We can make more precise, less risky decisions. We can roll out something faster than before. But I still also, from my own perspective, I still also need to work in a way that I use AI for my own instinct. Because when you rely on AI, on data analysis, on prediction, your instinct can be informed, but your instinct can also be lost to those decisions that are flawless, that are precise, and that are very safe. But in a marketing world, sometimes you need authenticity that comes from a very loud, from a flawed idea. And I think that is still an important thing, that us marketers still need to use our instincts in the way that we approach a product or a service and a market.
Exactly, and I think that AI changes not just the way advertiser works, it changes the way everyone works. And I love that you mentioned that while AI is very helping, but you also take precautionary measures not to get lost in all of the AI and still want to show like realistic like expectation and humanity, like so that you can like touch a lot of people more emotionally.
Yes, we want to work and make that work unforgettable.
Yeah.
But if you only use AI or prediction tools, you will still have a great work, but that work might be forgettable. And that's my argument. Yeah.
That's a very refreshing take, and I think like I love that perspective from you. But stepping from that topic aside, your agency is represented at the gala. And how do you feel like as one of the successful agency about the gala, and what do you hope your team will gain from participating in events like this?
Yeah, we are very happy to be at the gala, and I think that to be here means a lot of things for us. Yeah, it means for me, yeah, personally, a reflection of many years in the business. How we started very small, how we learned from very simple things, yeah, to how far we have gone, yeah, to this point, yeah, and to be successful and being a part of the gala is an honor to us, yeah, as well as to meet the experts in the field, yeah. And another thing for me, I want to highlight is that it seems this year everyone is raising the bar, yeah, and that's a good thing, yeah. From how the client, yeah, work with us, yeah, to how we set the bar for ourselves. I think everyone is raising the bar, and this is a good thing for the industry because, as I said earlier, we need to smell the fear again in our work. Yeah.
I totally agree, and I believe like events like this, like when you meet a lot of people, it will spark new ideas and you get new connections. So it could be like a really fuel for your agency to grow more when you see
yes,
like
when we walk into the room, we feel it all. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, that's totally great, and I appreciate your point of
Yeah.
view. So before we wrap up, I just want to ask your final thoughts. If you have anything you want to share about where digital marketing is heading from an agency perspective.
It is a business that may not get any easier, but one thing that stays true is no matter how complex, yeah, the marketing strategy can be, no matter how complex the customer journey can be, the marketing activities needs to be pulled into one place together in one form and in one direction. And I think that's what all the brands should be aware that when you might be starting right, but down the road you might be going into too many different paths, and you always have to reflect on yourself again, the main direction that you're going and how you can pull everything together.
Yes, totally love that. That's very like I feel a lot like I'm learning a lot from you just by talking, and that's very like insightful for me. So thank you so much, Tom, for sharing your stories and your insights today. We really appreciate your time, and we hope the success is for you in the future, and we hope to see you again soon.
Thank you so much.